When we had last left the Spacefarer, they were on board the star station known only as the Chop Shop, seeking out a bounty, Hannibal Eutropio, on behalf of the Trackers Alliance. And it was there that they confronted the man who turned out to not be him at all. Indeed, it was a great ruse set out by Hannibal himself, who turned out to be none other than Adrastos, that they currently had aboard their decoy ship, and who currently was starjacking their decoy ship and getting away with it. Now they found themselves in a bit of a pickle and had to take a junk trash ship all the way back to Aquila to report their findings and failures. Now, formerly a member of the Trackers Alliance under the codename of Nova, the Spacefarer decided to talk with all the other members before carrying on, perhaps finding space powers. This is Starfield. Welcome back. Zoop, zoop, zoop. Here we are. I never noticed that up there. That must be new, huh? It's gotta be. All right. So.
Good to see you again.
Okay, let's have some words. Do they have anything else to say now that we've done this one mission, maybe?
Tracker.
No, I don't think so.
Well.
I'm surprised that they gave us, like, a call sign when I think either calling you Rookie or Tracker is absolutely perfect, right? I actually think Tracker is really good. And you know what? Tracker should be...
What's good?
Well, I don't know. Everybody else has a name, right?
Hey, yo. Hasta luego, my friend.
Huh. Okay, anything else from you?
I hope you fare well. A nod to the stars that align our paths.
Why does a formal organization like the Trackers even exist? Don't we know this?
After the Nerian War, there were issues with extrajudicial vigilantism.
Yeah, yeah, we know this. Okay. Can I tab out of this? Yeah, for whatever reason, these refreshed. Weird. Okay. Who are you exactly? What's your story?
I am no one. By design. There has always been and always will be an agent number one to lead us.
By design, are you a clone?
One loses all traces
Are you a
of identity,
clone?
including all of one's records and history, even gender and voice. You can imagine, many would seek to do harm to one in this position. To protect family and associates, our identity is more than confidential. It is eliminated from existence.
Oh, we definitely haven't heard this before. Yeah, the first one we had definitely heard, right? But this, I don't think so. I understand. I hope I don't need to give up my identity. That's absurd. You shouldn't have to give up your entire identity. How did you wipe out your entire records and history?
I will simply state that our partnership with the United Colonies and Freestar Collective comes with some powerful tools.
Huh. No real name? So how do people refer to you in general? Well, we already know.
They call me Agent Number One, or Agent No One. Use they or them when speaking about me, as to further protect my identity. However, that has always been my preference.
Yo, hell yes! Hell yes! Oh my god. I never thought we would see the day. Fucking A, that fucking, like, can of pork and beans would be ripping his hair out if he had any. Was it difficult to give up your identity?
Yes and no. When one attains this position, ties to family and other associates are cut off. That is the most difficult aspect. As far as anyone knows, my former self is dead. Records of my life are mysteriously lost. I assume that is difficult for those one leaves behind. However, I am fortunate that I did not have many family, associates, or records to lose. My name was no great loss, nor were other aspects of my identity. I never conformed to gender, for instance. For me, it was an easy decision.
Right. Why did you never have any, like, friends or family, though, to begin with, right? They close things out with something that's a lot more understandable. Like, yeah, I never really had a preference for gender, but we kind of gloss over the fact that, like, yeah, I just never really had any family or friends. What? Are you a fucking clone? Are you a clone? That's absurd. You shouldn't have to give up your entire identity. Even, like, past iterations of Agent Number 1, you know?
It is only required for my position. Perhaps leadership in the Trackers Alliance is not for you. Trust that it is a necessity that was carefully considered. Know that to attain my position of leadership, it was a combination of deeds, competency, professionalism, and above all, trust.
Can you tell me more about bringing in targets alive?
Certainly. It's largely the same whether you're finding targets of opportunity with your scanner, taking on an elite tracker bounty mission, or going after a target of interest. After you've convinced your target to surrender, or subdued them through non-lethal force, you can register them with the system. Registering them lets either local law enforcement or a specialized tracker know to come transport them away.
Okay. Sounds like you have it all figured out. What if the target runs after I register them? Will someone always come no matter where I am? Who are these specialized trackers? The motto, leave no quarter, show no mercy. Isn't bringing them in alive showing mercy? What if the target runs after I register them?
With someone on their way, your target would not get far. It would be charged with additional felonies. It would only be worse for them.
Will someone always come no matter where I am?
Yes. I won't go into the particulars, but even if you are in the furthest reaches of space, someone will eventually be directed to pick up your target.
Huh. I like... It works well as a gameplay mechanic, right? As like a diegetic explanation for how it works. But it does also play into the mystique in sort of the background of the organization. Who are these specialized trackers?
We have trackers who specialize in prisoner escort and detainment, rather than what we're asking you to do. They have the ships and equipment required to ensure successful handoff to the appropriate authority.
The motto, leave no quarter, show no mercy. Isn't bringing them in alive showing mercy?
I can see why you would ask, but no. Criminals are punished by the justice system depending on their crimes. Some of those punishments can be harsh. Not everyone in the Alliance feels the same about the motto, as it's a bit of a holdover from older times. It's more of a tradition, and it serves as a reminder to never give up and pursue your targets to the end of the universe, so they can face justice one way or another.
This is so well handled. This is so well done, I feel. Right? Oh my gosh, they're fleshing out all of this so well. I think it's also massively helped out that they've already existed in the game elsewhere and we've had run-ins with them, right? And stuff alluding to this organization. And as well, leading to sort of like, I don't know, lampshading and covering the less savory parts of them. Like, I'll go back and reiterate, with the convict rehabilitation planet, or like part of that planet, you know? Okay. Sounds like you have it all figured out.
Our system works pretty well for us. Please, speak your mind.
What is the difference between an agent and a regular or old tracker?
An agent takes on a more administrative role, whereas trackers primarily work in the field. Often, when time and age catches up with the tracker, they become an agent, as their experience and wisdom is valued, and it can be difficult to reassimilate into society. Both roles are equally crucial to our operation.
Okay.
May luck follow you.
This shit is so fascinating to me. I can't believe how much, like, mystique and mystery they also have built up here. Okay. It's like shockingly good. Like for real. We're just gonna say it at every step of the way, but it bears repeating. This should have been like what the Freestar Rangers were like. You know, this should have been it. Right? Like, I still love the whole ordeal with Hope Tech and Ron Hope. That was excellent. But I would love everything else about the Trackers Alliance grafted onto that Ron Hope arc. You know, Ron Hope should have been a multi-part person of interest or whatever for this group.
I believe so. I want to take advantage of the time I've got while I still have some fight left in me. I would still continue my duties as an agent, of course.
If that is what you would like, who am I to stop you? There are few I trust more than you. This you know.
I do. Thank you for understanding, and for your blessing.
Mind you as well, Agent No One, or Agent Number One, isn't the first time that Bethesda, at least, has had an explicitly, like, non-binary character, right? Like, very obviously on some level, Vivek of Morrowind was, like, sort of defined by that in, you know, making use of fantastical fantasy tropes to sort of create this dichotomy of duality. Vivek was very, like, I would say an NB in the sense of being, like, very gender fluid, you know? And of course, there's the whole situation of the Daedric princes and them just also being fluid in that sense, right? Because they're very much like a metaphysical manifestation or idea, right? They don't operate on the same level as, like, regular mortals within that universe. You know, so they're no stranger to it, right? If people will bring up an argument, right? You know, if someone brings up an argument of like, well, Starfield is like this way, such and such or whatever, right? Just because current year argument. They've been like this for a while, right? They've had this since at least Morrowind. Anyway, the founding trackers. I want to read this now. Ooh, we're gonna read this now because it's particularly pertinent to what's been going on. I haven't yet gotten the new like next mission or whatever via the Creation Club or whatever, but we will definitely be getting it. Like I said, I want to spread this out a little bit. We'll weave in the main quest. The Founding Trackers. This aptly named book contains information about the founding members of the Trackers Alliance, including this crib sheet summary of the original 5 members. Elias Zax. Is this meant to be a nod to Elias Tufexis? Right? How many places have I seen where someone used the name Elias? Huh. Which, mind you, Elias Tufexis is the voice of Sam Coe, and I believe is the principal, if not sole, voice director for Starfield? Anyway, an ex-mercenary who fought on both sides of the Narian War. As a soldier for hire, his only allegiance was with who was currently keeping him on their payroll. When the war ended and his services were no longer required, he turned his skills toward bounty hunting and didn't look back. He was able to leverage his connections within the United Colonies and Freestar Collective to help broker the deal that would eventually lead towards legitimacy for the Trackers Alliance. Ooh. That's really good. Right? Like, we kind of gloss over it, but there's such a disgusting, like, point of origin for this person being, you know, like a fence sitter, as it were. Not even a fence sitter, but war profiteering off of either side of the Narian War. Bertha Mondu. Frequent spacer attacks plagued Bertha's homestead, which she famously defended. One day, while she was gathering supplies from an off-world outpost, spacers came and murdered her entire family. After getting revenge and bringing those responsible to justice, she turned her sights towards other fugitives and criminals. She managed to steal a large spacer ship and establish the first mobile base of operations for the Trackers Alliance, a ship called the Falcon. Bong Cha No, or Noe? I don't know. Apologies. A former assassin for hire working for the now defunct Automika Corporation, until her employer stiffed her and set her up to be caught and disposed of. She managed to turn the tables and systematically killed the entire corporate board one by one. After uncovering their terrible crimes, it led to the entire corporation dissolving within a few short months. Until joining the Trackers Alliance, she focused her efforts on surreptitiously infiltrating criminal groups and taking them down from within. I feel like I've seen this in a movie. Dimitru Vega. Dimitru was a big game hunter and the heir to billions of credits. Wow, they suck. They suck so much. After conquering the biggest and toughest alien creature he could find, he determined that the only thing left was to hunt the most dangerous game. Other humans, of course. Of course. Big game hunter, heir to billions of credits. This is a story as old as time. Of course you want to start hunting humans. Where do you go next? Of course this is what you do. His advisors informed him that would be illegal. He was informed. Dude, that's illegal. I don't know if you knew this, but this is illegal. You can't do it. Until he insisted they find him a legal way to do it. And so, he turned to legitimate freelance bounty hunting, and he met up with the other members of the fledgling Trackers Alliance. As such, he was instrumental in financing the early Trackers Alliance. To this day, when trackers need to requisition credits or other provisions from the Trackers Alliance supply, it's called dipping into the Vega Fund. Oh my god! Them having such a sinister, background for their funding is so dope. Dude, we still have one. All right, let's read this before I make my assessment here. Badger. Fantastic name. Little is known about Badger. They showed up one day, never showed their face, and reportedly spoke few words. However, they were known for being the best of the best, and held the record for bringing in the most bounties in tracker history in nearly 100 years. Reportedly, they never once let a target get away. Legend has it that they are not only responsible for inspiring the rules and traditions for Agent Number 1, but also the Trackers Alliance motto: leave no quarter, show no mercy. Oh my god. All Agent No Ones are clones of Badger. That's it. They're all Badger clones. They are all Badgers. It's gotta be the case. It's got to be. Gotta be. Alright, so I was about to say...
Why are you bothering to carry all that junk?
Sarah, come on! But Sarah here being is kind of perfect for this. As far as smaller factions, right? I still think UC comes out on top as a mega faction, an institution for which you can spin out a whole bunch of other shit and have it be based around it. I think they're fantastic for that. But as far as smaller factions are concerned, and groups and organizations and stuff like that, the Trackers Alliance so far, I don't want to jump the gun, but I'm gonna. I'm sorry, I'm gonna. They are on par with fucking Constellation for their world building, for their pacing, for getting to know the characters, right? They are on par with Constellation, the main story group and organization, are they not? God's sake, they use almost the same color scheme, right? But for real, they're so well handled. It's absurd. It's ridiculous. I was going to say at the start of this, or I was thinking about last time, that they're pretty close to and on par with, what do you call it? The Red Devils that we encountered in the sort of UC Vanguard arc, you know? They're not too far removed from that, right? Because the UC Vanguard, that arc was handled, I think, pretty well, sort of with regards to pacing and getting to know characters, right? You're introduced to Hadrian, what's his name? Dr. Walker? Percival. And as well, you get to meet the former faction that sort of led to a lot of the problems, and the Red Devils themselves, right? You meet them there. You sort of learn about their background, their involvement with the recent colony war, the sort of ways in which they weren't perfect, right? Not unlike the Trackers Alliance, they too were not perfect. They had their own issues, some of which, there's nuance there. Members were yeah, we were forced into a weird situation. We acknowledge that, yeah, some of our organization, what we did was fucked up. We weren't necessarily aware at the time. And there's room, of course, for others to be yeah, it wasn't fucked up. You have legendary, almost infamous, or like, yeah, not almost infamous, but infamous figureheads that seem like ghosts, right? In the case of Vevictus, you know? You have a system-wide, not system-wide, but settled systems-wide spanning issue and mystery with regards to the terramorph problem, right? They're not all too dissimilar from that, but I think... all right, you know what? We'll dial it back a little. They're a middle ground between the Vanguard/Red Devils arc and the main story quest with Constellation, right? For all we know, it could get bumped up, you know, as we go through more of these quests and stuff, as more become available, right? But so far, man, we're firing on all fucking cylinders with this. Are we not?
How about that?
Okay.
I remember when she was old.
Let's head on back down here.
Barely speak. Oh, bless your heart. You must be proud.
Let's see if I even remember how to get back down there. Good, good, good.
She's why I'm not.
May your quarry's death be as swift as
Let's hear
nothing
these
else
two
can.
out.
I'll just have to live vicariously through the trackers that stole through here.
I hear that. Well, you know, anyone stupid enough to go after your girl would see us rain fire down on them faster and more ruthless than the wrath of hell itself.
I know. All the same, it was time to get out anyway. Thanks, though.
Dude, I hope they
Well,
get whoever this
howdy,
voice
Tracker.
actor is back for Fallout 5. Or if he can do some kind of voice for Elder Scrolls, if he can do like one of the fantastical voices. Because there's no one there quite with this like American, country western voice, right?
What can I
Or
do
is this
you
country
for,
southern?
young gun?
It might be country southern rather than country western. It might be. I would need to hear him talk more. But regardless, dude is killing it as well. Oh, fun little hat here. All right, let's interview
You're always
everybody.
welcome.
Well, if it ain't,
Jobs.
now what call sign did you take again?
Nova. I'd prefer not to say your mom. Do I need to share it with you? Do I need to share it with you? I mean, it's just polite, right? It's just a kindness we're extending. what a horrible like anal thing to say to somebody who just opens up to you. Let's say it. Do I need to share it with you?
If you want to chat with me, yeah. I know we don't do real names as part of the job, but I'd like to know who I'm talking to, if you don't mind.
It's Nova. Sorry, none of them were that super cool, honestly. I would have been fine with just being called Tracker the whole way through. It's Nova.
Nova. Can't argue with a good, solid space name. Inspiring, too.
Yeah,
Well,
I did like the space
I can
aspect
see
of
why
it.
you'd take that name. You got my seal of approval. Not that you need it. Name's Bloodhound. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
Got any good stories? Got any bounty hunting tips? Can you tell me about yourself, Bloodhound? Got any good stories?
Loads. But let me tell you just one. So, I'm down at some ass-backwards moon outpost out in the boonies. Got this old feller in my sights who's wanted for thieving from Ryujin and the other big corpos. Now, he don't know I ain't gonna shoot him, but he's itching to do something stupid. Then his kids come out, and his grandkids form a circle around him. Turns out, he's stealing so they can all just have a life. I get it. So I let him go. Far as the corpos know, he's dead.
I probably would have done the same. Tough decision. I'm not sure what I'd do. You were hired to do a job and you failed. This is, like I said, nuance within the organization, different people with different takes and ideas of how they do these things, right? Some people may be interested in changing things from within, right? Like we heard about the motto and whatnot. Okay. I probably would have done the same.
Yep, I got cussed out pretty good. But sometimes, it's worth it to do some good in the verse.
Got any bounty hunting tips?
Sure. I'm a veritable wealth of information. Anything particular on your mind?
I think I'm good for now, actually. I don't know. Got any general tips? I think we can exhaust all these, so general tips?
Well, it ain't what I'd call hot tips, but they serve me well. Eat right, stay hydrated, exercise, just stay healthy. Don't hunt if you're sick. Last thing you want
Okay,
is an errant
Dad,
cough or
okay.
sneeze to give you away when you're trying to use the element of surprise.
Maybe this guy was in Fallout 4, right? Maybe this guy was like Porter Gage or some shit. I don't know. I can't remember what Porter Gage sounded like, honestly. I can't remember. Okay, what's the best way to take someone in alive?
Personally, I prefer the diplomatic approach. Just because we're all certified badasses who could easily lay out the toughest spacer punk doesn't mean you're not human. If you ask me, words are a tracker's most effective tool. You'd be surprised how far a little sympathy can take you sometimes. And failing that, most targets are cowards. They don't want to die. Exploit that fact when you can.
How do you deal with a target who gives you no choice but to kill them?
Now that's a tough one. Depends on the situation. If you can't convince them with words, you may have to rough them up and put the fear of God in them. I suggest you learn as much as you can about human anatomy and physiology. It ain't pretty, but there are many things you can do to a body that ain't lethal, but may cause someone to wish they were.
Oh my god. Dude, everybody rocks. Everybody rocks. The characterization of everybody fucking owns ass. I think I'm good for now, actually.
You got it, Chief.
Okay. Can you tell me about yourself, Bloodhound?
Sure. I don't mind sharing a little about myself, but not too much. I'm no agent number 1, but I'm still a tracker. Been a tracker for over 30 years. Before that, I was what you might call a freebooter. I won't tell you what I did, but sure as hell wasn't above board. Well, suffice to say, that life can weigh on your soul. After a few close calls and some introspection, I came to the idea that I could do some good instead. Of course, it's hard to translate those kind of skills to the workforce, so here I am. Always saw to it to bring in my targets alive, in case they have any similar revelations.
You really always bring your targets in alive? Isn't that hard?
Yep, every single time. It ain't too hard when you've lived my life and seen the things I've seen. Folks deserve a second, third, even fourth chance. I'm living proof of that. Tell me.
This dude fucking
Say
rocks.
someone
Holy
puts a
shit.
bounty on your head that you rightfully didn't deserve, or maybe you slipped up and had a bad day. You think it's right that they get to play executioner?
Good point. I'd rather the justice system decide, but also that's kind of the sort of partial flaw of a group like this is like, yeah, the justice system, which, as we have just seen with our, like, SysDef Crimson Fleet arc, the justice system, as you would expect, maybe ain't perfect either. Sure, if I tried to evade the law, I deserve the consequences. Doesn't matter. Sounds like the decision would be out of my hands at that point. I imagine it's too situational to adhere strictly one way or another. Huh. I want to hear what he says to this last one.
It's some sort of intimidation tactic? Well, it ain't working, in case you're wondering.
I imagine it's too situational to adhere strictly to one way or another.
You see, that's what you call a slippery slope.
Yes!
Justify it once, you can justify it again. Sooner or later, You end up like old Yama over there, believing yourself some servant of the god of death or something, and thinking you're doing
Oh
them
my
poor
god,
souls
this
a
guy
favor.
fucking rocks
Ain't no
ass.
life for me. Anyway, you're gonna do you, and I won't judge. But don't come crying to me if you can't reckon with your own demons.
Holy shit, this dude this is my favorite member we've talked to so far. God, I hope all of the Trackers Alliance quests, you end up going out with another member, right? Sort of like how we did with Roach.
Got blood in all over my damn floor again earlier.
Yes, that was likely me.
Well, could you not? I'm tired of cleaning up after you. I mean, look at you now. Not a speck of blood on you. You clearly know how to clean up after yourself.
For you, I will try to
I think
be
we'd
more
heard
careful,
this one.
but I make no promises.
Fine. Well, maybe I don't make any promises to give you a clean glass to drink out of. How's that for you?
Okay.
You
I
must
think
harden
it's
yourself
so
against
difficult
doubt,
having
or
this be
succumb to its woes.
in Aquila because the Freestar Rangers comparisons are just going to be unavoidable, right? And so far they've probably been the weakest of all of the like faction arcs, right? And they mind you, they had a lot of potential with the Hope Tech business and all of that. It's just the organization themselves was so like I don't know, shallow, right? They did such a poor job of building up the organization of the Rangers and all of that, relative to what we're seeing just here, right? This is so well done, right? And different members are having different takes on what they do and having to wrestle with like the implications of their own organization. You only really touched on that a tidbit with what do you call it, with the Rangers?
If
God,
you're
are they
here
about
to convince me not
Hell
to kill
yes.
again, you're wasting
We need to
your
hear
time,
this.
old man.
Now hold on, it ain't always about that. I just want to know where you got that new hardware I saw you walk in with earlier.
I got it from Stash. Traded that old currency he deals in for it.
I can confirm that.
Ain't that something? You give him junk money and he gives you high quality gear.
I can confirm that too.
I have no qualms with this deal.
Of course, I don't get what he sees in the stuff. No one outside of him deals in it anymore.
You guys can hear me, right? It's like I said before, I'm collecting it because when it comes back into circulation, I'll have a huge supply of it.
Is that Wes Johnson?
We hear ya. I just don't think any of us believe it'll make a comeback after 100 years. But hey, you do you, Stash.
Yeah, we'll see. Just because you don't know anyone who deals in it doesn't mean it's worthless. Huh. I know people.
Oh my god, they're so fucking good.
I've danced this dance with death for long. If you know it like I do.
God, you know this guy fucking picked the Ronin background at character creation. This guy would have picked the call sign Shadow or whatever the fuck.
I have seen death. I have seen tragedy. I have seen more beg for their lives than I can count.
God,
But what I haven't
this
seen
type of guy.
is a fledgling tracker seemingly so willing and eager to speak with me so soon after joining. What knowledge do you hope to gain from our interaction?
Even just the way in which he's directed to speak. Like, dude is talking like he's a member of the fucking Dark Brotherhood. Alright. Mostly, I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Nova. I've always wanted to know how they get the food to be perfect cubes at Chunks. I'd be pleased to receive any knowledge you're willing to impart. Respectfully, I do not need to learn from you. Let's be a little dingus here. I always wanted to know how they get the food to be perfect cubes at Chunks.
I will not acknowledge that with a response. I hope you take any further conversation more seriously. I am Yama. I borrow this name from the god of the dead. He judges the souls I usher to him.
Oh my gosh, he's so fucking great. God, what a fucking edgelord. I fucking love it. What kind of advice do you have for a new tracker? You must have some interesting
If you're
stories,
trying
huh?
to phase me, it won't work.
Can you tell me about yourself? What kind of advice do you have for a new tracker?
I must warn you, my advice may not be palatable.
I can handle it. Can't promise I'll follow your advice, but I'd like to hear it. I once used a monster costume to scare away tourists. I can handle unconventional tactics. We need to go back there and do that again. We need to go back. God, reactivity to a weird little quest that we did too. Reactivity to us dressing up like a fucking monster. Fucking amazing. Okay, maybe I don't want your advice after all. We have to say this. The reactivity is necessary. I once used a monster costume to scare away tourists. I can handle unconventional tactics.
While that is indeed unconventional, what I'm about to suggest may be considered much more unethical by some. If you are given the choice between bringing your targets in alive or dead, always choose dead. Criminal fugitives must be brought to justice, and the only way to truly serve that justice is to end their lives so that they can be judged fairly in the afterlife.
Oh, that's how he justifies it. You're saying you never bring your targets in alive?
Correct. A criminal fugitive is already trying to run from justice. They will do it again, if given the chance. It is in their nature. Would you allow even a slim chance that they escape again? Even if they turn from their criminal path, would you deny their victims true justice?
Under your belief, they would still face judgment at the end of their life. I'd rather bring them in alive so our secular justice system can do its job. You're right, a divine power would know best. Talk of gods aside, no justice is swifter or more final than death. Huh. I like the top one. Under your belief, they would still face judgment at the end of their life.
That is true, and yet, the thought that they would go unjudged for so long would eat away at me. But I realize that may not be your belief, so I will not try to convince you any further.
Man. Alright. You must have some interesting stories, huh?
My stories are not for your amusement. But I will share one so that you may learn from my mistake. There was one time I decided to let a man live. He had a family, a wife, 3 children. He showed me a picture. They looked happy. He begged I let him live and spend the rest of his days incarcerated. So, at least he could see them occasionally and watch his children grow up from afar. He escaped from prison. He went home and murdered his entire family, and the family next door, and several others. By the time I found him again, he had killed himself, robbing me of the chance to pass him off to face his eternal judgment. Never again.
Oh my god! The fucking characterization of all these fucking people is amazing! What the fuck? They gave the dude a reason for it. They gave him
is unpleasant.
a maybe flawed, right? But a reason to be the way he is. Can you tell me about yourself?
There is not much I wish to divulge. Whatever you have heard about me is likely true. I do not bring back my targets alive. I aim for brutal efficiency. I do not work well with others. You must know, I do not feel the need to appease or delight anyone. I take jobs no one else wants, and I always get it done. That is my value.
Man, holy shit.
May the shadows guide your path.
He really is in the Dark Brotherhood, dude. He is in the Dark Brotherhood for real. We need to eat something. Holy shit. We need to do an eat and drink. Holy fuck. I had no idea we were in for such a fucking treat. Let's see. Don't I have another chicken? Yeah. I got a couple kinds. There we go. And let's have a tea, too. There we are. Great. I'm assuming they're going to say the same thing.
If you're here to convince me
Yeah.
not to kill again,
Okay, what about
you're wasting
you,
your time,
Warden?
Fancy a drink, Nova? Or just come to bend my ear?
That. I just want to know where you got that new hardware.
Okay, nothing yet. Nothing yet. Not until a future
Got it
update.
from Stash.
Okay, what about you, Stash?
How about that? We got a new tracker in the building. Name's Stash, and I'm more than just a pretty face. You ever need my help, you can step right over here to my little corner and we can talk shop. Whether it's for business or pleasure, that's up to you.
Who is this? Is this Wes Johnson? I don't fucking know. It could be, but I'm not sure. Who is this? They sound so familiar to me. I'd like to exchange Astras for equipment. Oh. Can you tell me more about what you do here? Let's just exhaust all these. Tell me more about what you do.
A tinker. I make, modify, and refurbish weapons and other equipment. For trackers only. But I don't do it for free, and I don't do it for credits either. I only take Astras. And you get whatever I give you. No questions, no special requests, no refunds.
Sounds good. I can work with that. Seems shady, but the others trust you, so I guess I do too. What are Astras? What are those?
I was hoping you'd ask. Back during the Narian War, there was some serious concern that the banks were going to fail. So some enterprising individuals took matters into their own hands and started minting their own currency, Astras, just in case the worst came to pass. Anyway, Astras are rare, but they're out there, still used in some black market circles since they're untraceable by any government.
What kind of equipment do you have?
Guns, melee weapons, lethal, non-lethal, suits, you name it. All with my own modifications.
Okay. Sounds good. I can work with that.
Good. And we're on the same page.
A tracker like you must have some great stories, huh?
Matter of fact, I do. But the most interesting ones aren't from my tracker field work. Instead, I'm gonna take you back in time to my youth. See, I was a scrappy little neon street rat. I tinkered, built homemade weapons, and armor made out of scraps I came across. You can imagine who might buy that sort of thing. That's right. Gangbangers and other lowlives. I saw what they used these weapons for. But I had to make money. And it kept me safe from the gangs because they needed me.
Sounds like a tough life. Glad you got away from it. Gotta do what you gotta do to survive. I was really hoping for a more of a cool bounty hunting story. How'd you go from that to becoming a tracker?
Well, I never did care much for those gangs, the way they preyed on folks weaker than them. So, when I found out about the trackers, I decided on a career change. Turns out I wasn't much for following rules. They said I was a bit of a loose cannon. But they liked my equipment, so here I am, peddling wares for other trackers.
Loose cannon? How so?
Well, when you grow up on the neon streets, you learn to fly by the seat of your pants. That doesn't always jive with protocol, even by tracker standards. Too much collateral damage. Don't worry, no one died. But let's just say I may have temporarily increased the homeless population. Anyway,
Jesus.
I like what I do now. I'm putting my technical skills to use in a way that Trackers Alliance appreciates.
God, who is this guy? Is it Wes Johnson for real? Sometimes it seems like him, but sometimes I don't know. All right. Well, I was really hoping for more of a cool bounty hunting story.
Yep, me too. Sorry to disappoint, but my days as a tracker in the field were pretty limited. But, hey, as a consolation, I have plenty of great gear you can buy. And that's a better use to you than some old tall tale.
Regardless of what we were talking about earlier, I think this is exactly the dichotomy between Stash and Bloodhound. I think Stash is... Maybe I got mixed up. I'm pretty certain Stash has a more country Western American accent, and Bloodhound is more country southern, right? If you can notice the distinction. That said, maybe I got the two mixed up, but I'm pretty sure I'm right on the money. Your name's Stash because you got a stash of equipment? Kinda
good?
On the nose, isn't it?
You really went from Nova to Black Hole in an instant.
Whoa! An idle bit of reactivity to our name? Kind of on the nose, isn't it?
No.
But the stash is on the nose, too.
No, it's Stash, like my mustache. Yes, it's kind of on the nose, like my mustache. Right. Well, under it, but you get the idea. But yeah, it does work out like that, doesn't it? You're not the first to suggest it, and I doubt you'll be the last.
For you?
And before you ask, no, I didn't grow the stash because I got a stash of goods or vice versa. Sometimes nicknames just stick.
Shit. Okay, I'd like to exchange some Astras.
Lucky you. I just finished working on some new stuff I think you'll like.
Oh. Oh, shit. This is like Fallout 76's legendary module exchange system. Right? We're paying for equipment tiers, aren't we? Right? If we pay 3, we're going to get a legendary. Do I have 3? Give me some of the best items you got.
Astras for me, equipment for
you.
Here you go.
That is exactly what this is. This is Fallout 76 has the currency is a bit differently handled. There's more of it rather than just 1, 2, or 3.
Talk to me.
In increments of 1, 2, or 3. But this is what they use. You go out and you do like events or little missions and quests, and you get rewarded with legendary modules that you exchange with a mole person, and they give you legendary items and stuff. And you can also scrap in your old shitty ones that you find randomly, and you can get legendary modules that way as well. Which honestly, it's kind of fun. I kind of enjoy it, right? It's a fun way to reward like endgame play for doing Radiant quests and like random events that pop up in the world, in 76 at least. And it seems like the same would hold true here. Actually, I got something else I wanted to ask you about.
No problem. Lay it on me.
Actually, I lied. Do I have more sets of 3?
I can take those off your hands and put something better in them.
If this is Wes Johnson, I'm shocked that we haven't yet heard him deliver lines in this like country western accent, because he's fucking killing it.
Yep, there you go. Enjoy.
Ooh, liquid cooled. Okay. Do I have more?
Hold on now. You don't have that many Astras. But when you do, I'll be glad to oblige with your equipment request.
Okay. See ya.
No problem. Lay it on me.
Yep. Okay, I gotta go. Oh wait, I just tab out of it.
Catch you around.
Let's see, what all did we get? One of them was really good. Okay, this is a spacesuit, and this is a hat. Antiseptic, airborne resist. It's only calibrated, though. Okay. I mean, still, it is quite good as far as the Man, this is amazing, though. Calibrated navigator spacesuit. 45 thermal on this fucking thing. And it's mechanized, and 15% less incoming physical damage from ranged weapons. Oh my god, the only thing that would be better about this is if it was just a higher grade of damage resist on it. Right? Like our top stats are kind of shit. But everything about this is perfect otherwise, huh? Yeah, this is like a perfect fucking roll. And of course, you could also argue that it being a lower weight class of equipment is fine. Right? I think this is a mid or low weight type of spacesuit. Just as well, it would be better if it were advanced rather than calibrated. But the legendary, the affixes on it, excuse me, the affixes on it are perfect. Or maybe not perfect, but they're damn near it. Because imagine if we got a corrosive resistance on this, then that would have bumped it up to 55. But 45 ain't nothing to, like, shirk. Equipping that for sure. And what about this? What's our current one? It's also kind of an all-rounder, isn't it? Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think both are good. We should be holding on to both of them, really. I don't really like the chameleon effects. I never make use of them, and they freak me out whenever they activate. They're good, but I don't like them. Yeah, I think I'll keep using my current one. Man, what a roll on that, though. Holy hell.
Yes.
Let's see, can I talk to you about anything, Koyos?
What do you request of me? Serious inquiries only.
I mean, look at you now.
No, okay, nothing
No
new.
quarter. Show no
You
mercy.
clearly know how to clean up after yourself.
Okay.
Oh, good. No one's driven you
Two Shot, do you have
away.
anything
Take a
else?
load off. Have a cold drink. Unless you have somewhere better to be.
I thought we exhausted all your shit. Working here, you must know a lot about the other trackers, right?
You know it, Sunshine. Who do you want to know about?
Oh, I see. Gotcha. Okay, well, fuck, we need to exhaust all these. These were not here before, because we didn't talk to them, I guess. Okay. We'll start from the top. We may have already heard the shit about Agent No One and Inevitable and Tank, but we'll start from the top. What's the story with Agent No One?
There's no story there. That's kind of the point with any Agent No One. You gotta give up your identity completely when you become leader of the trackers. That job comes with a giant target on your back. So, the less people know, the better. Agent No One is like a closed book. If that book were also glued, clamped, chained, and buried underneath an active volcano on the most distant moon of the most distant planet of the furthest star system.
I'm telling you, Agent No One is just a clone from the original. They're all Badger clones. Can you tell me about Bloodhound?
Bloodhound's one of the old-timers. He's good people, but I hear that wasn't always the case. I can't say for sure, but based on some of the stories he used to tell, I think he was ex-Fleet. As in the Crimson Fleet. Quite a turn to go from an outlaw to someone who chases outlaws. But the skills transfer pretty well, I imagine.
Yeah, he's a regular old fucking Red Dead Redemption over here. Alright. I love it whenever we talk about like this sort of archetype of character and like, yeah, he's good people, but he wasn't always. And they say it like that, and it's like, that just makes them sound even cooler, right? Any character with this archetype, as soon as they're like, yeah, they're really nice these days. They're a really stand-up person, an individual who's got your back no matter what. But they weren't always like that. Whenever they say that, I'm like, fuck, they've just become, like, extremely cool. Really cool, nice person who used to be fucked up. Whoa, now you got me. What's with Inevitable?
Oh, she's been doing this longer than anyone, I think. She's old, but don't count her out just yet. Rumor is she was next in line for Agent No One, but turned it down
really?
after the last one was killed. She even brought the killer to justice.
All right, there goes my theory.
Word is, she just liked fugitive recovery a lot more. Or didn't want the responsibility. I lean more towards the latter. It makes more sense considering she's an agent now. Anyway, they used to say that the longer she bides her time, the more a fugitive has to fear.
Okay. What's the deal with Roach?
He talks a big game, even has the skills and stats to back it up. But you probably also know as well as I do that he is fiercely competitive. You can either play into it or ignore it. He's not that bad once you get to know him. You ever wonder why he's called Roach, huh? It's because he seems to be unkillable. Not literally, of course, but he's managed to get himself out of some extremely sticky situations unscathed.
Okay. What do you know about Tank?
He's a big teddy bear. Such a departure from the norm around here. Oh, I also know he's run the Red Mile under his tracker call sign, which may get him into trouble with someone someday, but it's his decision.
Oh, there's not much about Tank. Is Tank gonna get killed? Tank is either going to get killed or is going to be in a situation where that seems like it's going to happen. stash. What about him?
He fancies himself a charmer, let me tell you. Could talk a heat leech out of an overworked engine compartment. Don't tell him I told you, but he's a bit of a tracker fanboy. Never could quite hack it himself, but that's why he's still here. I bet he could talk your ear off about tracker history and stuff. Lord knows my ears feel a little looser after talking with him.
Does Koyos count as a tracker?
I like to think of Koyos more as equipment than anything else, but it's still vital to our operations. I don't know who programmed it to maintain and access our database over short-range wireless, but it's secure from what I can tell. I just wish the programmer's attitude didn't show through. I could do without the sass.
Oh. We don't know anything about the programmer, do we? What's the deal with that warden guy?
Oh, he isn't exactly the conversational type. Seems to enjoy the company of others, but not talking to them or interacting with anyone in any meaningful way. We just leave him alone and let him do his thing. He doesn't bother us, and we don't bother him. Other than that, I don't know much about him. Seems to be a good tracker, though.
Oh, all right. What can you tell me about Yama?
Other than his obsession with death, I don't know much about him. He doesn't exactly open up to others. Everyone says he must have seen or done some pretty terrible things. I don't have anything to go on but that. You know, it takes a lot to make me uncomfortable, and even though he's never done anyone here any harm, or even so much as let anyone down, he still gives me the creeps.
Yeah, agreed. He's a fucking freak. All right. Actually, I don't want to hear anything about the other trackers right now.
Suit yourself.
Okay. And where'd you get a name like Touche? We heard this. Touche.
Funny you ask. Most trackers choose their call signs. So did I. Used to be called Solar Flare, but enough people started calling me Two-Shot that it stuck. When I was out there, it never took me more than 2 shots from my firearms to bag my target. Thought I would have given it up once I retired from tracking to have a kid. I pour such strong drinks that now they say it doesn't take any more than 2 shots to down a tracker. So, it's stuck. I'm just happy they decided to keep me on the payroll.
Did she not say the Touche line? Did I miss that?
Funny you ask. When I was out there, thought
I
I would have given
completely,
it up
like...
once I retired from... I'm just happy they decided...
She didn't say the Touche line. How did we just get a different line right now? What the fuck is going on? What degree of complexity is this group? How come we didn't hear her say Touche? Did we talk to someone else about that? Did someone else tell us about her being referred to as Touche?
I'm good, Touche. Hey, how's the kiddo, by the way?
She's doing great. She just lost another baby tooth. She's really starting to read, too. Her dad's teaching her.
How about that? I remember when she was yay high and could barely speak. Oh, bless your heart. You must be proud.
She's the light of my life. You know, she's why I'm not out there anymore. Can't put her at risk, you know? I'll just, have to live vicariously through the trackers that stole through here.
I hear that. Well, you know, anyone stupid enough to go after your girl would see us rain fire down on them faster and more ruthless than the wrath of hell itself.
I know. All the same, it was time to get out anyway. Thanks, though.
Dude, Bloodhound fucking rocks, man. Holy shit. Okay. Well, fuck me. I thought that we were gonna go out and spread things out, but we ended up just, like, talking to fucking everybody and listening to them talking to each other. Kind of nonstop and all that, right? We got a little sidetracked and carried away, and we just kind of got distracted by how fucking dope everybody is here, right? Fucking the characterization going on with this group is fucking off the charts. Will they be able to execute on it continually with every update or whatever? I don't fucking know, but I'm excited to find out. The start of it is really good, right? Everything laid down. With regards not just the characterization of the group, but the organization itself and sort of the nuance within it. It's all so fucking good. God, is there a secret up here? Hang the fuck on. There are pillows up here.
I just don't think any of us believe it'll make a comeback after 100 years. But hey, you do you, Stash.
Yeah, we'll see.
I think there's only pillows up here.
Anyone that deals in it doesn't mean it's worthless. Huh.
There's nothing up here except pillows. Which isn't that weird, but it is kind of weird that there are pillows, right? What the hell is going on? What the hell is going on? Just another weird, cool mystery and facet of the Trackers Alliance. Right? Oh man, they're so fucking dope. Shit, I don't know. Maybe I'm fucking off my shit. But a lot of folks have also written in with comments, sort of agreeing with the assessment here, and like, yeah, this is fucking really good. Fucking amazing shit, right? I would have never guessed it. I was just hopeful that they would just maybe gloss on and like cover a little bit of what was alluded to at the convict area, right, with the rehabilitation facility, right? That would have been good enough. But this is above and beyond what I would have expected, what I was expecting. All right. When next we come back, we're actually going to do what we were planning to do this time. Until next time, please take care of each other.